everybody. It's Bill with Strong Healthy Seniors. Let's talk about nutrition. About once a month, I always like to get together and just talk about an issue. And today, I think it'd be a good time to talk about nutrition, because nutrition is so important. Sometimes we hear an argument between exercise and nutrition, which is most important. Exercise, I always think of it as a trigger. When you make yourself exercise, you begin to eat better, sleep better. It does trigger some things, but you just can't underestimate the importance of good nutrition, what it can do for us. Today, I'd like to talk about how we can eat better, maybe talk about some myths about nutrition, maybe, and then why it's important to eat better. And let's talk about that first. Why? Well, I'll use myself as an example, because years ago I was diagnosed with several chronic illnesses, arthritis for a long time, and I was taking glucosamine. A doctor told me that if I didn't take glucosamine, I was going to have a hip replacement, because when they looked at my x-rays, my cartilage was deteriorated, and they're saying you have arthritis. Well, it turned out it was high blood sugar. Years later, after 20 years of limping around, and I was thinking about getting a walker or a wheelchair, so I got me a cane or something like that. No, it was really bad. So, well, that's over with, and we solved that with reducing my glycemic index, eating healthy foods. And so that's one thing. Another thing was I became pre-diabetic, and I sure didn't want diabetes, so I don't want that. So it kept lingering, and I kept fighting it. And I was so worried all the time I was going to become a diabetic. But I learned to reduce my blood, reduce the sugar in foods and improve that. So I reversed pre-diabetes, which I hear is not all that easy to do, but I'm proud that I did, and thankful and trying to keep on that course. And I had high blood pressure for the first time in my life. So I was eating a diet that I'd heard was healthy. I was recommending it to other people. It's what I always heard. Here it is. It was lean protein, like lean meat, vegetables, fruit, nuts, seeds, water. That sounds pretty good. The problem is, and I forgot about this, about meat and dairy. And I was exercising a lot. What I've always heard, you need more protein. You got to have lots of protein. So eat more meat, lots of meat. And I'm eating, my wife used to call me tuna guy. I was always eating tuna, cans of tuna. And eggs, eggs. Dairy, just drinking milk and well, I learned that, and I'm just going to start out this, hitting something that you may not want to hear, but the reason why you hear so much about whole food, plant-based diets, one of the big reasons is, I was going to save this for later, but let's go ahead. It has to do with, the biggest killer on this planet. Heart disease, cardiovascular disease, clogged blood vessels, clogged pulmonary system, killing people right and left all over this planet. Especially in America and countries where we eat a diet high in animal food products, meat and dairy. So why is this so bad? It's because of, at a cellular level, and that's what food is made out of, after all, is cells. A lot of cells. On a cellular level, the cells in animal foods contain LDL cholesterol, which is the kind of cholesterol that clogs your arteries. It forms plaque in your arteries, it builds up, and blocked arteries are what, the strokes and heart attacks, it can take somebody's life like that. And people are fighting it. Well, so animal food products contain LDL, low density lipoprotein lipoprotein type of cholesterol. Well, plant-based foods, their cells do not contain it. They do. They contain, if you've ever been to the doctor and you had a wellness visit like I do a lot of times, they'll say, well, your bad cholesterol is this or that, LDL cholesterol. But your good cholesterol is this or that number, good cholesterol. So HDL cholesterol, high density lipoprotein. That's what's in plants. That's what, and turns out this, not only does it not clog your arteries, it helps to clean your arteries. And when you look at plant foods, plant-based foods, they are very detoxifying. I mean, let's talk about that a little more pretty soon, about carbohydrates, which is for some reason, and and promoting protein, meat, and dairy, animal. Are people becoming healthy? No, they're not. But people who adopt a vegetable diet, vegetable-based, plants, nuts, their health improves. Well, the fact is, people, that we just can't eat like kids anymore when we're adults. Let's face it. I mean, kids can get away with it, and they probably need the calories. They probably need that kind of food. When you get older, we don't need all that sugar, and those are simple carbohydrates. It's true, some carbohydrates are not beneficial. Simple carbohydrates, for example, cookies, cakes, donuts, snacks, sugar, you know what it is. So I think maybe everybody knows this. They don't want to hear it. A lot of people don't. Some people may. I'm here for the people that may, that do. Because, the reason why nutrition is so important is because, besides avoiding these diseases that are being caused by it, also a certain amount of physical activity is very beneficial for us. And how are we gonna be more physically active if we're sick? You see, it's a cycle. It's a cycle of eating poorly or not exercising, and probably not eating poorly first, and then not being able to exercise, and so many Americans, and actually people throughout the world, seniors, let's say, are not exercising. A high percentage are sedentary, that get no physical activity. They're inactive. So, well, it's not their fault. I'm not blaming these people. I'm not saying, you're being lazy. They're sick, and they're being misled by, well, I don't know whether I want to get into all that, but let's just say for the time being that there's a healthier way to eat. And on this channel, Strong Healthy Seniors, I talk a lot about how to improve your diet easily. And people, I used to not want to hear that either, to be honest, because there's types of meat I thought I liked, and as it goes along, though, meat is less and less appealing to me. It just started to get where it's kind of rancid, like it's greasy, and meat and dairy is the thing that when you leave it out a little while, it just gets nasty. And vegetable foods are just a lot cleaner. It's just cleaner. So I just feel night and day better, and I just wanted to share it with people. It would be so selfish if I found out a way to feel better, and I just kept it to myself. And I feel better. Don't care about anybody else. Well, I do care. I do care about a lot of people, and I actually have a campaign on this channel. You can't see my banner there, but usually you can. It says 1 million seniors strong, because I want to get as many people as possible to exercise, improve their diets. You probably know what the CDC and the American Heart Association major studies have found out, and was published in Circulation magazine, is that just 150 minutes of moderate physical activity per week, and this is about 30 minutes per day. It's pretty easy to get. It actually is. And if you can't, then we'll work toward getting it. But 30 minutes per day, 5 days a week, say, for example, can reduce all-cause mortality, all-cause health-related diseases and causes of death by over 31%. That's almost a third of your life. So, it's just it's worth an effort. And, a lot of times it's our diet that kind of holds us up. So if we can just get eating better, I'll be honest, my diet kind of hinges on green smoothies that I make, healthy smoothies. They're not real sweet. They're predominantly vegetables, spinach and maybe some, carrots and cucumber, and I put some chia seeds and flax seeds and, different vegetables in there. Sometimes I'll put a beet in it, banana and apple every now and then. And I use a base of fresh squeezed citrus. I used to just use a bottle of some smoothie I bought, which is okay. I mean, it makes it taste good. It gets you started. And you can improve this smoothie by adding these vegetables to it. But I love, I've got a Vitamix. May as well plug that brand, because I've tried other blenders. And what you want to do is blend it so fine that you can drink it. If you have to chew it, you're not going to do it, is what I always say. No. No. It's worth the extra money that it costs over some blenders, because it breaks it down to so that you can drink it. And that's so important too, because breaking this down makes it a lot more digestible, a lot more absorbable even than it is when we eat vegetables that our digestive system is not as efficient. Chewing, we can't break it down as good, but this device will break it down so small that when we drink it, and we can digest it easier and utilize it easier. So, and I've heard this said. I had a nutrition course, and this was brought out. Excuse me. It said that one glass of a green smoothie contains more vegetables, fruit, fiber in one glass than most people get in an entire week. So, and I make these smoothies. I drink them every day, and they cleanse my body, my system. I just feel so much better. I've overcome these illnesses. Well, that's the base of my diet. I also eat sweet potatoes. I love sweet potatoes. Put some cinnamon on them. I get these frozen bird's eye vegetables that I'm always writing them to. They're discontinuing them at certain stores, and they're discontinuing healthy things. So I'm not for that. But bird's eye power blends. There's Southwest style. There's quinoa and spinach. There's Italian style, California, and these are really. They have greens and fresh vegetables, and it's easy to just heat it up. And another thing about that, I like them, because they're easy, and it's sometimes a challenge to find meals that are easy to prepare. But these are just at the store for about a little over $2 a bag, and so I also like some extra virgin olive oil every day. I've heard that's pretty good for you, omega-3s, and just it's a good healthy fat. And some cider vinegar with Mother. I get some of that. So I put it in some squirt bottles, and it's not real easy to drink a tablespoon of it. It's for me. So I put it on these vegetables, the olive oil and the vinegar. It makes almost like a dressing, and it just enhances the flavor, and it's a way to get that healthy substance in your body too. So some little tips I do. Also about healthy nuts. I get raw almonds and raw cashews. I like those a lot. I don't use those so much. but raw walnuts for sure. Again, full of omega-3s. And I get large bags of it, like 5-pound bags on Amazon. And I'll open it, like 2 or 3 bags, and I'll put it in a big bowl I've got, mix it all up, and then mix it up, put it back in the bags in the freezer. And then I'll get a Ziploc sandwich bag from time to time and go get me a bag full out of my, these mixed nuts out of these bags in my freezer. And I've got some extra freezers here that fortunately I have from some things we, food trailers and stuff we had. But, anyway, it makes it easy to get healthy nuts and so this healthy diet has really helped me. And, I just want to pass that along. Also, during the time I had pre-diabetes, I talked to nutritionists from time to time. And something that I had ran across. And I was a little disappointed in these nutritionists because, for one of them was drinking a Coke while they were talking to me. And I couldn't, but I noticed on a bottle of, this is some daily fiber drink that I found. And there's this daily fiber drink has these benefits. It can lower cholesterol. It can help maintain healthy blood sugar levels and helps you maintain digestive health, clean elimination, so there's a lot of benefits to this fiber drink that I'm talking about here. And of course you can get in little packets if you go to a store go to a restaurant and you want some. It helps to, like if you eat a meal with, sometimes I join the family and I don't want to always be a stick in the mud with my healthy diet, but I love it. But, it's not always easy so if I don't eat anything, my wife gets mad, so I always try to join in. And I do my best, but sometimes I'll feel like it's a little hard on my glycemic load, And I'll take some of these packets of this fiber, and it really helps. I guess it kind of dampens that, helps that any sugar that you eat to be absorbed slower and be, utilized. So it helps to prevent, spikes in blood sugar, which causes problems. So that's some good stuff. Anyway, so I think I've talked about all I want. I did want to mention about when I was talking earlier about protein. A lot of talk about protein and a lot of talk about avoiding carbohydrates. Well, let's talk about that for a minute, because carbohydrates is the largest macronutrient category. And it is probably the best and worst at the same time. So when you hear about avoiding carbohydrates, there's simple carbohydrates. We talked about those, like sugars. And again, simple carb foods are like donuts, cookies, cakes, candy, sugar. Things like that. Even some foods we consider to be a little healthier are starchy, and they could have a high glycemic load, have a high glycemic index, high sugar. But so a lot of carbohydrates though are more complex, and like spinach is carbohydrate, broccoli. Tell you this real quick that. There's a myth. I told you there's a myth out there that I want to talk about. One is that it's cheaper to eat unhealthy food, junk food, fast food, than it is to eat healthy food. Well, let's talk about that. Because I took a virtual cart and got on my Walmart. I shop a lot at Walmart. I used to not, but I like them a lot. And so I got on my Walmart app and I started shopping, and I'm getting like a bag of spinach, just less than $2. I got a big bag of carrots, 5-pound bag, less than $5, and put that in my smoothies. Some cucumbers, a bunch of broccoli. I got some, what else can you get? I got a bag of grapefruit, a bag of apples, and when you add this up, so then I got some nuts, I got some raw nuts, and, I just went and got about $50 worth of groceries in my basket. It's pretty full. I mean, this much groceries will last close to a week. It could almost feed a family for about $50. Now take $50 and go around the store and so-called healthy food. Maybe it's processed food you're talking about. I don't know whether they advertise things as healthy, and that's questionable. So, or say you go to a restaurant, and healthy restaurants. I admit that some of the healthy restaurants can be a challenge. Sometimes they cost a little more because they're probably not. I don't know why they cost more. A little bit, but you do get healthier food. Like we would go to a good food co-op, and they've got a little restaurant in there, and I think the food's a little more, but it's healthy, and I just feel better. It's worth the money to eat a little healthier. It's not that much more, but think about that basket of groceries that I was talking about. Healthy vegetables and fruit and nuts. Pretty big basket of groceries, and then go around the store and try to find in that entire store in there. I'm trying to think of somewhere else that there's like 3 or 4 aisles of potato chips and snacks and candy and cookies, and there's I don't know, there's some healthy canned goods. There are. You can go around there and get some healthy canned goods. Pasta. There's some healthy pasta there. A lot of prepackaged things. When you're going through frozen food, it's a little challenging. A lot of stuff just ready-made, and it's, then throughout the store, there's a lot of preservatives and this, and y'all know. You've heard this before. When you look at it, when you really look at the store as trying to find, if you just took a basket in there, I'm just going to get healthy food, you would spend a lot of time in the produce department. You'd start to spend less time probably around. Now, let me say this about being a vegan. I call myself a balanced vegan because although I was talking about protein being a little bit misunderstood, I think, to get all the essential amino acids that we need, and that's what we really need. Is like our bodies synthesize protein, but we need all the essential amino acids, and some of those you have to intake in meat and dairy foods or get them other ways. It's that vegetable foods contain all the amino acids. They do. But it's the proportion. So you really don't need that much. Say like I might eat an egg from time to time. Eggs are healthy. They're not that bad. I mean, if HDL cholesterol cleans your blood vessels and detoxify, then I can eat a little of something that will help me to get the full spectrum of nutrients that I need. If there's a little lean chicken in a salad or something, something. I think it's interesting that Asians don't just eat big slabs of meat like we do here. They use meat as a flavoring kind of, and I think that's a great idea. Is to eat, and their diets are always known for being healthy. So, that's what they do. The meat is not like, it hadn't been since the advent of supermarkets that we could go to a grocery store and take a basket and just fill it full of meat. Throughout human history, to get meat, you'd have to go out and hunt meat or, find, and you didn't have that much meat. It wasn't that easy to keep, so people didn't used to eat that much meat. And I think in the past they were healthier in a lot of ways, even though today science has learned to prolong our life by helping us with diseases and things we didn't know. But, health-wise, as far as heart disease and cancer and things like that back then, it wasn't as prevalent. So, just some food for thought, you might say. Ironically. And I just wanted to talk to you a little about my thoughts about diet. It's not that, I am a certified nutritionist, but I'm not sitting here trying to, I'm not that smart about it, to be honest. I know some things, and there's some major things to know that I believe anybody can know. The funny thing to me is how many doctors there are that are looked up at as authorities on diet and nutrition, and it's pretty I don't know if it's that well known, but it's pretty true, that a lot of medical professionals get little to no nutritional education whatsoever. So then people are looking to them for nutritional advice and things. And I guess maybe they can prescribe some pills or different things. I don't know. But I just think it's ironic, and I see a lot of this, and I think I see a lot of misinformation from that. So I don't know. Just try to discern what you believe. So, well, I'm going to go ahead and turn this in. And thank everybody for joining me today. And have a great day. We'll see you again on Strong Healthy Seniors. It's Bill. Have a great day.